Hello, good morning or good day. I know that this is a day for many. Hmm, But yeah, today I'm talking about shame because that's the topic on Erotic Classroom I'm working on. I've been listening to this really great book called Alchemy of Shame. Mm, I highly recommend it. It's by Kaisa Peltola. And then writing around those topics. Mm, I actually forgot my notes. I wanted to share something from those notes. Mm, I'm just gonna go back in my mind. But I'm creating the next lecture that might actually be 2 lectures on shame. And also, listening about the topic makes me really conscious about my own shame. And actually, I've been balling around with few ideas with my AI assistant on whether I could go and talk about my ideology or my theories in some conference. Uh, this is more related to social work than BDSM, but like social work conferences, since I do have quite a radical view on social work and I'm very post institutional. I love that word because that's like that really depicts how I see things. I don't see any institutional forms fit to fix the problems we have. They are necessary, yes, and we shouldn't break the systems. We shouldn't stop having social work or any like social welfare systems. But we do need options and we do need alternative systems. Mm. And that's where the community comes in and the knowledge on communities and villages and networks and so on. And that is my special interest. That is my passion. That's what I've been working on, related to school, related to work, related to just interest. So of course, my AI says that, oh, wow, you're very fit to go and speak, just based on what I'm feeding it. Like, here's my essays, here's my articles. But I myself personally, and this is from the book says that we Finnish people are really cautious of telling what we personally think. If we don't have a PhD, we're not qualified to have an opinion. And that's something that I'm guilty of also, because I feel that since I don't have my master's yet, I feel that I'm not fit to talk at any conferences, or I couldn't share any of my articles to any social work publications and share my ideas. Mm, And I would say that that's shame. That is internalized shame speaking. I am not smart enough, qualified enough, academic enough to speak about these things. Mm, And actually, that is one thing that I am fighting through these Substack articles and also my social media. I'm trying to break curse. I'm trying to break through the illusion of my ideas are not worthy. Mm. And even like a bigger thing is that I am not saying that my ideas are the only right ideas. I am not saying that everyone needs to start thinking like I'm thinking. Mm, I just have my ideas and I think they work for me and hopefully for others who are similar or they are interested in similar things or they are also or have gone or have come have come to the conclusion that uh, the misery in their lives is mainly uh, there because they lack community. And for myself, I knew it for a long time, but then when I started studying eco villages and communities and even social sciences and about our society and how it's functioning and what's wrong and what's not functioning, I think that was very validating for me personally to actually have a really deep understanding of uh, that I am not wrong. I'm not wrong for needing deep connection to others and to life and to things I'm doing. And there was this, what was it, Siirala, Matti or Martti Siirala. He's a Finnish psychiatric psychotherapist, social scientist, philosopher, and I don't remember his titles, but he's been studying also shame and mental illnesses and how shame and trauma are related to mental illnesses. And I think he also specialized in schizophrenia and PTSD. And mm, his thesis was that we have this thing called societal pathology, yhteiskunnallinen patologia, yhteiskuntapatologia. I think his theory was called societal pathology, which means that you're not sick, the society is sick. And if you feel sick, it's just a very healthy symptom of a sick society, which is basically, I'm not sure if Martti Siirala has heard the quote of, uh, it's not a, what's the quote? It's the Rumi quote, probably Rumi, but some spiritual thinker leader who says that that's not any sign of health to be well adjusted to a sick society or something. But yeah, same. Same. And studying these topics and studying sustainability and everything, uh, it was really comforting to realize that other people in academia, it's huge. Many people agree that the society is not wrong, but we really need large scale systemic change. And now it's just a matter of organizing that change. And many things in the book, Kaisa Peltola, he speaks about shame and how shame eventually is the core trauma for many. I mean, of course, there can be traumatic events, and I think October, November was trauma month, and we discussed trauma more there. But trauma is also related to shame. Shame, I think, shame-related trauma. That's like attachment trauma. Yes, kiintymyssuhde. Attachment trauma and shame-related trauma are quite the same, but at the core, shame is a feeling that there is something wrong with you or something wrong inside you. You as a person are wrong. And it can be, or it mainly is, a sensed experience. You feel it in your body. You just feel it in your body that in some situations, in some human connections, in some, or like experiencing some emotions, how you express these emotions or don't express them. Shame tells you that you are wrong. What you're experiencing is wrong. And then we curl inward. And that blocks the connection. And I think that maybe here I'm not going to theorize because I'm not done theorizing. I want to continue theorizing. I'm getting a call. Not sure who it is. So I'm just gonna speak from my like what's rising up for me. Mm, I think that my own family has functioned in a way that my parents had their own core traumas and own shame because of life, because of Finnish culture. We are a very strong, we have a very strong shame culture, and it has a lot to do with church and religion. We have been taught to have a very strict way of thinking and abiding to the Bible. And then you add war and all that trauma on top, which mainly makes it so that you just need to stick with things, or you just need to like just push through. So you start with a really strict religion base, and then you add the war and shame and surviving alone. No one's gonna be there for you no matter what. And then you have the strict, like you can only be this one way. If you're different, you will be cast out, and that's it. So not that much room for emotional expression, not that much room for caring, loving, intimate connections. And I really understand. That's what my parents grew up with. And even though I've had a really safe home, it has been very emotionally cold home. Mm. And maybe even not cold, I think, or now as a grown up, I can see that, or many Finnish parents, they want to be warm and they want to connect with their kids, but they lack the skills how to do it. What can I say? And this is where the shame comes up. You have no example, you have no previous models for this. Maybe you want to tell your children that you love them, but no one ever told that to you. And this is not only a Finnish problem. I think this is like a generational thing, that growing up with parents who I'm listening. Someone like locked the door downstairs. But parents who have shame around expressing their emotions, even lovely ones, even warm ones, it disconnects. And that nervous system level safety and connection that happens when our bodies are safe, our nervous system is safe, and we are free to express ourselves, that allows for the connection. And that connection never happens, or very rarely happens. That creates the sense of I am wrong, because if you're growing up, you're a kid, your brain system and network for regulating yourself and maybe feeling a bit unsafe and then coming to the safety and connecting with someone else. Kids can't do that. Their bodies, their brains, their nervous system home. And ultimately, if you're a Finnish person living in this society, the whole society at large can't provide that for kids. Mm, very few environments, very few grown-ups inside the school system, the social work system, the healthcare system, very few adults there mm, are in that nervous system state of safe connection. It's not their fault, but that is the reality. And mm, that's what we sense as growing up. That's what we also sense as adults. When we go to a space and it just feels a bit awkward or it just feels a bit uh, restless, you have to be on guard. Mm, that's probably just uh, bodies and nervous systems trying to look for the safe, let's regulate together, but uh, no one knows how. And that's very crucial part of untangling shame. Having those safe spaces first with your um, self, and this all should be like if you feel that some emotions, some reactions that ever arise during even like when I'm speaking here or when you are maybe watching a lecture on the course, the erotic classroom, or maybe you're booking a session and then we're having the session. If any reaction is too much and maybe the reaction stays with you for multiple days and you just can't get out of it, that might be a trauma reaction. It might be something that your body has no skills to cope with. And I think those situations, it should be really important that mm, you seek help. And whether that help is therapy, whether that help is some somatic treatment or somatic therapy, maybe it's some, what words could I use? Uh, Someone who is qualified to lead trauma healing circles process something. Mm, because I talk about trauma. I am trauma informed. I talk about trauma sensitivity and topics related to that. But I am not a doctor. I'm not a psychotherapist. Mm, but what I can do and what I hope to do, what I wish to do is to create spaces where people can practice those uh, co-regulation skills. That's what I want to offer when someone comes to my session. Mm, many times, no matter what we are doing in a session, it has some elements or ties to shame, usually. Many times, even just admitting that you want to submit creates shame, and exploring your sexuality in today's world, that brings up shame. And just allowing it to be there and surface. And I should remind myself now that also I need to breathe. Mm, because it was not shame-inducing conversation this morning, like just now before this live, but it was an emotional discussion. So I can sense that my body is a bit not triggered, but not 100% grounded either. So just allowing those emotions and reactions be there. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about allowing them. I want to talk about how normal it is to experience shame. And oh no, it's a dog. Just a moment. Ah. A dog is barking outside. Hmm. My partner should be there. Maybe I should go and watch whether the dog is okay, because it's quite cold. Hmm. Hmm. So shame. Let's go check on the dog and chat about shame while we do it. But yeah, any reaction that comes up is okay. He left the dog outside. It's so cold. Tulla vain. Chup, chup, chup. Oliko kylmä? Oli tosi kylmä siellä sisällä. Ona. Oli tosi kylmä. Voi rakkaani, sä jäähyit. He's gonna come upstairs and bark. He always does that. He wants to stay outside and not come in because there's a bone. He eats the bone and he doesn't want to come in, but then when he's there for too long, then he starts barking. Okay, back to shame. But yeah, BDSM and shame. I'd say that that's basically the whole material what BDSM is working with. How does the dominant lead the submissive through something that the submissive is ashamed of? Or maybe feels that they couldn't do something on their own, maybe. And it's not manipulation, but it's facilitation. And this is from the erotic classroom. And I think other themes. But yeah, I discussed the shame around am I fit to be an expert? Also shame and how that relates to trauma. That's really interesting. I'm also like, trauma is my special interest. But maybe also the fact that not all shame is wrong. I think that if I look at myself 10 years ago, Mm, I think one big reason for why I was traumatized in the first place, or the happenings that led into me having my personal breakdown, I think it was due to me not following my values and not living by the things that you value and feel are meaningful. That creates shame. And back then, I was a person who couldn't really cope shame. I have lived my whole life trying to fit into the societal box of this is how you should live. Mm, and that wasn't me. While doing so, I was not living up to my values. I wasn't uh, aligned, or for me, the alignment is that I value these things. Let's say I value honesty, love, kindness, and curiosity and creativity. Like, I want to explore, but I want to do it kindly and always center love. And then I'm told to go for a profession, go for money, go for certain types of relationships that are usually very uh, patriarchal, male oriented, and male led. Like, I've had a relationship where um, I think I was literally mm, emotionally under the boot because I was afraid. I was afraid to cause conflict. I was trying to be obedient and always mm, observe what my partner needed so that I could get ahead and somehow like fill all his needs so that I was enough. And then in school life, work life, mm, yeah, just being a certain way and thinking that that's going to save me from shame. But uh, it's turned out to be the complete opposite. Mm, if you ditch your values, you're going to end up having enormous shame. And especially the shame is going to center around uh, who the fuck are you? If you don't live by your values, who are you even? And I remember buying this self help book back then before my breakdown. And it was supposed to be this like very uh, good mood, improve your life, and get everything you want journal with these uh, presets, or like every page had a thing like feel this and then you will be happy. And I think it started with the question of uh, like mark your values. There was a list of values and then like cross the things you value. And I couldn't do that because I was not living by my values. So I felt hypocrite. I felt fake. If I wanted to cross, let's say, kindness or love, I wasn't really doing anything in my life that uh, showed that I was living by that value. Mm, and I don't remember experiencing shame as a feeling, but I was just completely numb. I felt nothing. I think my only emotion back then was anxiety. And anxiety is not a feeling. it's just this surface buzz so that you can't feel any emotions that you really have. Mm. So, yeah, not facing your shame and what your shame is trying to tell you. Mm, it's not healthy either. And I think that then turning the whole picture upside down, that the toxic shame that is put on us by the society, by religion, by history, by our family dysfunctions, and just societal norms. You should do this. This is what success looks like. This is what relationships look like. Um, that's toxic shame, and that shame is not coming from myself. That shame is just me believing what I've been told. And I understand myself. I don't blame the young me or younger me, because it's everywhere. From the day that you are born, you have these clues and signs that if you show your truest self, or you express your emotions or feelings, or you're sensitive. I think sensitivity was also one topic. And I think sensitivity is also something that connects many BDSM people, spiritual and BDSM people. Uh, you're sensitive, you feel things, your brain and your body is this, I don't want to say highly tuned, but you just have a really sensitive body and mind. And I was ashamed of that, because that's what society says that you should be ashamed of. And then that is very toxic. Feeling shame because you are something that you very naturally are. That's very contradictory or messed up. So I think that these days, if you sit with shame, you let it surface, you let it be in your body, you feel how it feels. There's the somatic exercises. I would just Google or go to Instagram, YouTube, like body awareness, body scan, shame specific. If you do those, mm, I think it allows you to then observe where the shame comes from. Because if you never let it be, or if you never experience it, it's always in the darkness. And you can't really say whether the shame is from you, you're doing something that is not aligned with yourself, or is that shame from society and you shouldn't really listen to it. Mm. And it's a process, it's a long process. But I've had many healing experiences through BDSM around shame. Because I've also had, I think, many times for women, I I don't want to do too much of this women men separation, but some things are societally true, and also just like what is the role of a woman, what is the role of a man traditionally, mm, or not traditionally, but the norm. What do we see as a norm? Mm, women are ashamed of being strong and seen, because we are told that we should be weak, protected, and quiet. And then men are ashamed of not being strong enough. And also, like if they are sensitive, if they don't always want to be seen, then that's a shame, because you should be always up for the challenge, always ready to be strong, fight, protect. And if you're not, that's shameful. Mm. So I think there is the opposite core shames there. But I've been very much ashamed of being seen. And that is the fun detail there, that now, after I've worked with my shame uh, a lot, I actually realized that in some occasions, in some mental states, I love to be seen. And I even, like, I do identify as an exhibitionist. I do adult entertainment, I perform. mm, But there's still like some things I am still ashamed of mm, doing in public, because this expert thing, for example, I still believe that only certain types of people are allowed to be seen. And I'm not that in the academic field. So the work is never done. You can just, mm, or I think the most important thing is that uh, we all realize that those are the background processes happening within each of us. And we should be patient and gentle, because shame, you can't really force shame. Mm. This is also in BDSM session. You have to work with like mm, the window of tolerance. That's something we talked about in the trauma section. You have to stay there, because if you go over it and maybe the shame reaction is too big, then it's no use. You just can't handle it, and then you dissociate, or whatever is your coping mechanism. Mm. Mm. So even in sessions, progress slowly, and in BDSM investigate explorations, go slowly. Mm. Okay, I'm gonna give you one concrete example, and then let's stop babbling. Mm. But maybe my mm, most memorable mm, shame-related session experience was, it wasn't my first session, even close, but it was fairly new dom, and then they told me to stand in front of them and strip naked. And I felt so ashamed, uh, because that was someone new. I didn't, like, I wanted to do it. I think I had trust, but I was so ashamed. And he saw that I was ashamed, but he didn't react. He was calm, and he just like waited for me to do it. And then I did. And afterwards, I got so much praise. And even like while I was unclothing, I got so much praise that in my head, I think it was the perfect amount of me being excited, me being really into my dom, and me wanting to do it, me wanting to push my limits. I wanted to experience shame. That's why I was into the situation. And then it was perfectly in my window of tolerance, and I got the praise, which I think it just packed the whole experience into this, like, yes, this was a good thing. I overcome my shame, and I felt safe, I felt connected. Mm. And that was it. It was so simple. I don't think we all even need, mm, or sometimes we don't need years of trying to intellectualize or discuss something. We just need to live through something that we are trying to, like, oh, let's not look there. Sometimes we just need to live through it and realize that we're okay, we could handle it. Someone was there for us and it was safe. Hmm. And that, I think that's, in the best case, that's what's happening in this whole sex positive kinky scene, or I think even like, okay, if you go into the whole tantric thing, they also work with shame a lot. Mm, so all these different methods, or mm, what should I call these? Schools of thought, maybe, mm, are very centered around shame. Hmm. Okay, 44 minutes. That was actually quite intense, not light coffee thing. But that's been on my mind. So now it's on your mind too. Mm, how are you? I can't really see. Why can I only see? No. Today's Monday. Yes. Mm, I'll continue listening to the book Alchemy of Shame and writing you the lecture that's gonna happen. Mm, is there something happening with the community? I don't think so. It's been just regular life. No special community updates right now. I've been baking a lot of bread, and that's been happening. Sourdough bread. That's so fun. That's really uh, rewarding because you get the bread, you get to eat the bread, and the bread is really good. Mm, so yeah, also trying to remember to do some not brain work at all things here and there. Mm, hmm. Last week we didn't have this, but last week nothing happened either. So same, same. Mm, is there any updates? No, I think February is just preparing the course. January, February, March. March, I have few subs coming. We'll start to prepare for the spring. Mm, okay, this is like pre announcement. But Lumi, Miss Lumi, she is probably gonna visit here in July. And we are thinking of hosting a erotic classroom retreat. So that would include uh, chats, workshops, and playtime. But we will see about the dates. But that's like very cautious pre announcement. Mm, and for the summer, the open house gatherings, just casual meetings, or like, hey, come and see the place. That is also happening. What is Talko? Talkoo englanniksi. Is it like communal labor? Talkoot englanniksi. B. Work party. Okay, I like the sound of work party. It could be setting up the garden for summer related work party retreat. Maybe, let's see, because I have a not problem, but there's not that much room in the winter time to host many people. So let's see what happens. But that's the update. February is mainly brain work. I hope you have a lovely week. Let's see what the AI assistant again turns into YouTube shorts. I think it's funny because it always alters my face and puts a really flashy text there. Something like, I almost didn't survive the -30, which is not the main point of the video, but whatever. It does it automatically. I'm just letting it do it and seeing what happens. So yeah, that's gonna happen after these. Okay. I will journal some now. You will have the first shame lecture this week at some point. And again, all feedback, anything is very welcome on any platform. That's it. Okay. Bye and have a not shame-free, but shame-allowing week. You can also journal around the topic. I'm gonna do that later too. Bye.